What's up, everybody? This is Coach MJ, and I want to welcome you to our training broadcast for this week. And for those of you who are joining on YouTube or if you're joining on Clubhouse, I want to welcome you as well. And if you have an opportunity to come, if you're on Clubhouse and you don't have the video, if you are able to come over and check out the full experience on YouTube or on our Facebook page, we would like to welcome you to do that as well. On Facebook, it's at I am Coach MJ. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about a topic that is really important to know not only what to do when you are trying to start a business or when you're trying to really do anything different in your life, but it's also important to understand what you need to stop doing. Because oftentimes it's the things that we are already doing that we try to continue doing when we're trying to change in our lives that actually stop us from experiencing the change that we desire. In other words, a lot of times we say, oh, I want to change. I want to start a business. I want to get this much income. I want to get rich. I want to, even if it's not relating to a business, maybe you're talking about, I want to change my health. I want to change my relationships, the people I'm around, things like that. But we're often not willing, or even worse, not aware of things that we need to stop doing before we can experience that transformation. And a lot of times that's what stops you more quickly than starting to do the right things, because you can start to do the right things all you want to. If you have some bad habits or old ways of doing things or old ways of thinking that are counter to the new things you're doing, who you are already and what you are already doing is going to override or counteract anything new that you try to bring into the equation. Human beings are always trying to move to the path of least resistance, just like water. It's always going to flow downhill if there's an incline, right? It's not going to crawl uphill. It's going to go downhill. And we as human beings are always looking for familiarity, for comfort, and for routine, things that we are used to. And some of those things are stopping you from having the business and ultimately the life of your dreams. So we're going to be talking today about 5 ruts that you need to get out of right now. And it's going to allow you, if you get out of those ruts and out of those habits, to start your coaching biz, not soon, but this month. Not just at some vague time in the near future, but this month, the month of March, if you get out of these ruts. You know how they say, I'm just stuck in a rut. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I can do to change the situation I'm in. Well, get your notepad. We're going to be talking about what some of those things are that are success repelling. The first thing that you need to stop doing, the first rut that you possibly are in, and this may or may not apply to you, but feel free to comment if you're like, yes, that sounds a lot like me, is one that's really common, especially amongst women. We are programmed in society to downplay ourselves, to judge ourselves harshly, and to just really be our worst critic. And I'm not saying men don't go through that, but as women, and especially as Black women, that is often the case. So the first rut you need to get out of is that habit of putting yourself down or minimizing your abilities and your accomplishments. I was just talking to a loved one earlier today, and this individual was like, they kept saying, oh, I'm supposed to be doing blah, 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 but I ain't been doing nothing. And it's really not even true. This individual has accomplished certain things, but they are in such a habit of always putting themselves down and minimizing the things that they do. And so it blocks them from stepping into something even better in the future. Because if you keep telling yourself, I can't, and I haven't done anything, I'm not doing anything, you're basically telling yourself you're not capable. And it is impossible to step into a successful space when you believe yourself to be unsuccessful or incapable or unworthy or any of those things. Stop putting yourself down and stop minimizing everything that you have accomplished. Because guess what? As I always say, you are an expert in something. And there is somebody out in the world, actually a whole lot of somebody's, literally hoping and praying for your solution to come along. because it will help them to get out of the situation they're in. There are people who want to know what you know, who would like to be where you are in life, who would like to have under their belt what you have under your belt as far as skill sets, knowledge, and things of that nature. And they are waiting for you to come along with your expertise and help them to solve their problems. And if you're busy saying, oh, that's nothing, or I haven't done anything, or always focusing on, here's where it really shows up. It's not always that you're minimizing what you know you have done, but your immediate focus is always on what you know you haven't done. Someone tries to give you a compliment and you have to downplay it or say, yeah, but what about that time I screwed up? Somebody tries to say you did something well and you minimize it. Stop doing that. It is blocking your success. But guess what? When you stop doing that, when you start giving yourself kudos, patting yourself on the back, and acknowledging how marvelous and wonderful all of your accomplishments and abilities are, that's when it'll be time for you to step into your greatness, and you will be able to start that business this month. It's not going to take forever, but you got to turn that thing on its ear and stop pouring negativity back into you. You can't pour from an empty vessel, and you can't pour fresh water or fresh anything from a polluted vessel. Stop putting yourself down and minimizing your abilities and accomplishments. That's rut number one. The second rut is, and actually I forgot to tell you, as I was preparing for this, after I had put together the broadcast, I was preparing and I came up with 6 ruts that are important. So we're actually going to get to 6 today. The second one is making the mistake of waiting for a feeling of comfort, or waiting for a lack of fear or a fear of risk, waiting for those feelings to go away before you get started. I remembered, I tell this story all the time. I was talking to a woman on the phone who needed my help. And she said, and I know it was just a buyer's defense, right? She was really just afraid of changing. But what she said was, one day when I get comfortable with it, I will do A, B, and C. And what I know is that the more you tell yourself no, the harder it is to tell yourself yes about anything, right? And so, but she said, I'm looking to be comfortable with it. And even though I know that psychologically that's not what she really meant, it was something more deep-seated. Those are the words that came out of her mouth. And I'm thinking, to become an entrepreneur, there's nothing comfortable about it. And if you're looking for a lack of being afraid as your indicator that you're stepping into something that's good for you, you're never going to get there. Actually, especially in the entrepreneur space, but really in anything, when you kind of feel fearful, that means that you are stepping into something outside of your comfort zone. And we know that outside of your comfort zone is where all of the growth happens. It's where all of the opportunity happens. It's where all of the greatness is found. All of the things that you want are just on the outside of your comfort zone. So if you're waiting to not be afraid anymore, you will go to your grave working that job that doesn't deserve you, or go to retirement and then collect a check, but never really step into your greatness and do the thing that you were put here on this planet to do. When you feel afraid, whether it's a fear of investing in your business, whether it's a fear of putting your name out there, putting yourself out there, if you get butterflies in your stomach, that means actually you're on the right track. Now, are there times when you might be doing something dangerous and feel fearful? Yes. But when it comes to investing in your business, the presence of fear does not mean you should stop. The only way to defeat fear is to do the thing that you're afraid of, right? You will learn how to move through the fear, and when you just do it anyway. Don't wait to not be afraid. You should be a little afraid. That means you're stepping into something big. If you're not afraid, you're not playing a big enough game. If you're not afraid, you're not risking much. And you're like, oh, Coach MJ, I don't want to risk it. I can't stand the risk. What's risky is staying where you are. What's risky is not taking a chance on yourself. I don't want to get all the way to my deathbed and look back and say, coulda, shoulda, woulda. What if I had done it? What if I had taken a chance? And here's another question you can ask yourself instead of waiting for the fear to go away before you do anything, and say, what's the best that could happen? Not what's the worst. Actually, I'll take that back. You can actually say both. What's the worst that can happen? Speak it out loud. Say it. As soon as you say it, it loses some of its power, because it's in the unspoken things, the things you're trying to avoid and dodge and just stay away from. Those are the things that have the most power. Once you speak it, It doesn't have as much power. So what's the worst that can happen? You get out there and you try your business, and the people don't just come flooding through your doors the first day or the first week or the first month. So then what? You just try something else, right? You don't go back to where you were. You just shift and keep adjusting and adapting. But what's the best that could happen? And then focus your energies there. What is the best that you want to achieve in your life? Focus your energies there, and the mind is powerful enough that it's going to create for you the circumstances to have the thing that you keep focusing on. If you focus on the lack and I don't have it and I don't know it and I can't do it, you're going to get more of that. And then that's going to seem to validate what you thought. But here's what else is true. All the successful people out here know that when you focus on what you want and keep your mind there and not on what you don't want, then what you want is what is created. It doesn't work both ways. You can't focus. Okay, it doesn't work that you focus on failure and get success. And it also doesn't work that you can't focus on success and get failure. Whatever you focus on becomes bigger. So stop waiting to feel comfortable with the idea of investing. If you're trying to open a brick and mortar business and the initial investment's 50 grand or 100 grand, it's just money. You can make it again if you believe you can make it again and you look for those opportunities to make it again. But if you don't do it, you know for sure you're going to fail. Because failure is not just about, what's that expression? Better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all. Better to have tried your business and it not work out and you pivot to do something different than to never try it. Because if you define failure as the business not working, well, if you never try it, the business doesn't work. So that's automatic failure. So when it comes to your future and your success, when you're not doing it, you're already failing. Because the business is not working, because it doesn't even exist. At least when you go for it, there's a good chance you can get there. If you don't try at all, you for sure aren't going to have it. So why are you afraid of trying? Why are you afraid? Not even the word try. Why are you afraid of doing it? And why would you let that fear stop you? Quit waiting for comfort or for fear to go away or the fear of risk to go away before getting started. The third habit is kind of tied to what I was just talking about, and that is expecting the path to your success, the path to, financial independence. Couldn't think of the phrase. Your path to financial independence, to freedom of your time, to be able to travel and do whatever you want to, whenever you want to, and make the impact in the world that you want to make. Stop expecting it to be easy and stop expecting it to be cheap. And I don't just mean cheap with money, although that's a big one. You want to become a millionaire, you're going to put something in, unless you plan the lottery, and good luck. If you want to make it as a business owner, it's not going to be cheap, but also it's going to take energy, physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy. Don't expect it to be easy. Don't expect it to come cheap. Not putting much in, but getting a lot out. And it hurts me so much because I want so badly to help as many Black women as I can with what I do and help them step into their greatness. When they think that I can just put a little in and get a lot out. But that's not how it works. That's not even how it works with your retirement fund. A lot of you have money sitting in a retirement fund. Yes, you might have an employer's matching what you put in, but they don't match it if you don't put something in. You can't expect life to provide you with an outcome that you didn't put anything into financially, energy-wise, time-wise. It's not going to be easy or cheap. And tied with the bad habit of expecting it to be easy or cheap is wanting more than you're willing to work for. How dare a person say, I want to, and this here, let me backtrack. We can say anything we want to. Words come free. Talk is cheap, as my mother used to say, and easily done, right? It's easy to say, I want to be a millionaire. It's easy to say, I want to be able to quit my job. It's easy to say, I want to be able to travel the world. I want to go to Dubai. Every Black person wants to go to Dubai. I want to go now just because y'all want to go, right? It's easy to say that, but are you willing to work for it? Are you willing to work for a life where you can make travel your norm and not just a rare treat that you do once a year, once every 2 years when you can finally save up enough money? You want to be able to travel every month. I love traveling every month. I don't want to just go some of the time. You want to live in the home you want to live in. You don't want to just live in the home you can afford. Well, the home you can afford right now. You want to live beyond that. You want to be able to live this magnificent life and take care of your family, your kids, your aging parents, whoever that is, and give the causes you care about, whatever all that is that you want or you say you want, but not be willing to work for it. That is such a rut because every year people create these vision boards. I used to do it before I really understood the right way to build a vision board to actually make things come to pass. We make these vision boards, you're cutting stuff out of magazines, and a lot of times that's not even done with intention. A lot of times people just cut out what's in the magazine, whether it goes with what they really want or not. And then they don't put a plan in place to actually work to make it happen. And all you're doing is wasting time. You don't want to keep wasting time saying this is my goal, saying this is my dream, but not being willing to work for it. That's a huge rut. So year after year, you get stuck in that same space and you're not really getting to those big goals. And then people tell themselves, well, it must not be for me. It's not magic. There's a lot of things that are for folk that they are never going to experience. It might be for you, but it's not going to be forced on you. So you could actually miss out on the magnificence that's supposed to be your life. Don't let the bad habit, the rut of expecting it to be easy or cheap or wanting things that you're not willing to work for, stop you from having what's meant for you to do and what's meant for you to have. Because the thing is, there is no real competition for you out here in the business world. There are other people out here that are doing what you want to do, but they are not your direct competition because only you can do what you've been assigned to do. When you were born, you were brought here to do something specifically, and most people go to their graves never doing that thing. But that means the thing they were supposed to do didn't get done. Those lives they were supposed to touch didn't get touched. The magnificence they were supposed to experience, they didn't get to experience it. It's not that, okay, if I don't do it, somebody else will. If you don't do it, it's not going to get done. Now, other people will do their assignment, right? And maybe their assignment will touch on the same space as yours were, but your work will not get done unless you do it. Be willing to pay the price. Be willing to pay the price for what you want. The next one is, the next rut is allowing time sucks to gobble up your productive space. I remember the first time I heard the phrase time sucks, things that suck time. A lot of times we'll say, I don't have time for A, B, and C, but what we really mean is it's not important enough. A, B, and C is not important enough to do what it takes to get engaged on that space. So many things take up our time, but you get to decide how you use your time, whether it's for what you want or whether it's just for what you let happen to you, somebody else's dream coming at you. Things like television, things like mindless distractions, things like a lot of entertainment and a lot of relationships that take up a lot of your time. There's a lot of things we do as humans in this society that suck up time. And then we say we don't have time for the things that are important. The same person that'll say, I don't have time to go back to school to finish my degree will know every episode of a TV show. And we always use TV in these examples because it's a big one. I don't know what people did with their time before TV was invented, but I'm pretty sure it was a lot more productive than what we've done. Although they've had different forms of entertainment all along, most of those forms of entertainment did not come directly into people's homes. You had to go somewhere to see the theater and the plays and the shows and whatever those things were that people used to entertain themselves with 100+ years ago. Now, the distractions come right into the home, the internet, mindless things, mindless games on the phone. The truth is that you have as much time. I saw a meme the other day. You have the same 24 hours in a day that Beyonce has. I guess their point is that Beyonce is super successful. And you can fill in any name, whether it's Beyonce, Rihanna, Oprah, Michelle Obama, whoever you want to name, right? You got the same time they have. So it's not that they're special. It's not that they have some luck that you can't access. They use their time different. And so they get different outcomes, right? And so, and I'm speaking to myself as well, because it's not a one and done unless you radically shift how you think. It's a daily journey for some of us to not allow time sucks to gobble up that productive space. And then you look up and it's weeks gone by, days and weeks gone by and months, and then you're still where you were. Because everybody was excited a couple months ago when 2021 ended, right? New Year's resolution time, there's that feeling of a blank slate, a starting over, a new beginning. But the thing is, if we take the same old productivity sucks into the new year, you're going to get the same outcomes. We've got to stop allowing time sucks to gobble up our productive space. At the end of this broadcast, I'm going to be offering you to spend some time with me in a few weeks learning how to launch your coaching business this month. It's going to be less than a week, but you're actually going to take your first steps. I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but you're going to take the first steps to starting your business. And there are people who will hesitate to step into such an experience to learn how to start their business and actually start it, because they'll say, I don't have time, I don't got the kids. And we start to talk about the kids and the family because we think that that is an objection that can't be overcome. I got to take care of my family, I got to work. And as a single parent who raised 2 children by myself, I'm familiar with what it takes to raise kids and what it takes to work a full-time job and a part-time job and go back to school and all these things. The bottom line is, when we say, I don't have time, it just means it's not important. And whenever we get done, we have to be honest with ourselves and say it, as my mother said, call sin by its right name. It's not important enough for us to have our dream. And so we let other things in. And maybe you're a person, you're thinking, MJ, I don't watch TV. I don't do entertainment. I don't do all those things. Okay, so it's something. This is for people for whom your reason, your excuse for not getting started is time. And maybe it's legit. Maybe you work in 60, 70 hours a week just to keep the lights on. And so then we have to ask ourselves, what's more important? Because as long as it takes 60 or 70 hours of working to maintain your current lifestyle, that's never going to end unless you do something different. As long as you stay in that, it's going to stay. When you decide I want something different, you're going to have to back off of some things. One of the jobs is going to have to go, going to have to tighten up. I've heard of people selling their vehicles so that they can start their business or so they can have time to go back to school or whatever. I've heard of people letting go of certain bills that you've told yourself are necessary, but they're really not. They can be eliminated in the short term so that you can have everything you want in the long term. How much is your future worth? What are you willing to give up? So whether time sucks for you or, leisure and entertainment, or whether you are literally working or doing something else, maybe you're doing something to help other people. It might be time for you to dial back on some of those obligations because they're stopping you from having everything. If you could give up some things in the short term to have time for that stuff and then some, would it be worth it to you? Of course it would. If you could let go of certain obligations, certain relationships, certain scheduling conflicts, certain, entertainments or whatever that is in the short term, so you can have time to do those things later, would you do it? And here's what's true. Most people, when they get successful, they don't go back to the old habits. They find they're not interested in those things anymore, or they can do them in a different way. That's not a time suck. What is your future worth to you? We've got to get to the place where we understand our time is more valuable than our money. The very things that you do and you're afraid to spend money to shift out of those things, the time they're eating up in your life, that's what you'll never get back. You can always, for example, borrow money from your 401k to start your business and pay it back later. But you can't use up 20 years doing something, a job you hate, and then get that time back. You only have a certain amount of time. You don't even know how much that is because we don't know when our lives are going to end. That's all you get. You can't make more like you can replace money. Don't allow time sucks to gobble up your productive space. The 5th rut that we're going to talk about is trying to be a lone ranger. What do I mean by a lone ranger? I'm glad you asked. This is a person that they got this. They on their own. They don't need nobody's help. I'm going to figure it out. Is it cool to be resourceful and clever and really smart and be really capable and efficient and get a lot done yourself? Yes. But as the song says, no man is an island. And guess what? You don't know what you don't know. Until you are in a space where you're open for help, open to not go on the journey by yourself, you don't know what you could be missing out on. There are so many things that because I'm one of those super clever, self-sufficient people, right? I have had events. I have done things in business. I've done things in my life that a lot of people would have required other people's help on. And I did it all by myself. And I used to, and I still celebrate those accomplishments. I still celebrate those things. So I was proud of myself. Man, that event went off without a hitch. And I didn't have a team. I just did it by myself. It was faster if I did it myself. But as I look back in this new space I'm in life, I'm like, wow, how much more could I have accomplished if I had had a team? Instead of saying, look at all I did by myself. Look at what I figured out. What could I have done if I had a team? What could I have done if I had a mentor showing me what to do to help me avoid the mistakes and the minefields and the pitfalls? Because it's a fact. Nobody knows everything. You may know something. We all know something, but we don't know everything. And we could make a lot fewer mistakes, waste a lot less time, and even spend a lot less money if we allow others to help us, people that have gone that way before us. And specifically, we're talking about starting your coaching business, but really this applies to anything in life. That's why couples that get divorced or are in trouble, a lot of times their family and friends will say, well, have you gone to therapy? And depending on your mentality towards therapy, some people are like, I don't need no therapy. And I'm thinking, but these are individuals who have been trained to help you navigate these difficult conversations. Why would you think that you don't need their help? What you're doing is not working. You're on the brink of divorce, yet you don't want an expert's help. And a lot of times there's pride and other things involved, I know. But the same mentality can happen when it comes to a business startup. I don't need to figure it out. I can just look on YouTube University. Look, YouTube University is helpful if you're doing like I did a few weeks ago, replacing a switch on my air fryer because it went out. YouTube University is helpful when you're trying to figure out an algebraic formula, which I did earlier today. What YouTube University is not good for is trying to start a business all by yourself. Can you learn some things? Yes, but you can't ever be completely sure if what you're doing is right because you have no feedback loop. You can't be sure if the method that you're following is going to get you everything that you want, everywhere you want to go. And that's why so many people out here struggling in the entrepreneurship space. They're trying all these things that aren't working and they're struggling. They think it's because I'm not meant to start a business or those things don't work. Well, it could be that it's not working for you because it's not meant for you to try that method. It also could be that you didn't implement it right. It could also be that there was some missing piece. It could be many things. And because you're a lone ranger, you don't know what those things are. Don't go it alone. Get some help. And I say, this person needs professional help. Yes, we all need professional help. I think back to, I've been a serial entrepreneur for years. But during all that time of starting all those side businesses, they stayed as side businesses. I was still working for somebody else. It wasn't until I got a mentor that I was able to sustain a full-time business working for myself. All the other business, a lot of people who know me don't necessarily even know all the businesses that I started on the side because they were just side gigs. That's what they were. I had a couple tax IDs in there, a couple LLCs, but the bottom line is they came and went because I didn't know what I was doing. I had a piece of the puzzle. I had the creativity. I had the idea, but I didn't know how to start a business. I didn't know how to grow a business. I didn't know how to maintain a business. I needed to talk to somebody who had done that before, and not just talk to them once, but get their step-by-step instructions all along the way. That's how that works. Don't try to be a lone ranger, strong Black woman. Yes, you're a strong Black woman. Yes, you're phenomenal. You're magical. You're awesome. The things that I see Black women doing, I was looking at things last month because it was Black History Month, and now I'm celebrating it in Women's History Month. It's amazing to me what we can do. But the most powerful women in this world will tell you they had a mentor. They may not call it a mentor. They may say there was a teacher who did such and such, or I worked with somebody who showed me the way. They're going to tell you, unless they're dishonest, they're going to tell you somebody poured into them. And it might not have been another woman. It might have been a man. It could have been any number of situations. But if you want the shorter path to success, because success don't have to take 20, 30 years, depending on how you define success. It's a journey, but it doesn't have to take forever. If you want the shorter path without falling and bumping your head and all this difficulties, learn from other people's mistakes. Learn from other people's victories. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Let somebody else's wheel move you down the road a lot faster. Break that rut of trying to be a lone ranger and get some help. I tell you, I would not be where I am right now if I had not had my mentor's help. My mentor and his entire team. He had a team of a dozen people who were all dedicated to helping me and my cohorts to achieve our dreams and have successful businesses. I wouldn't be there now. I couldn't have figured out the stuff he taught me in 8 weeks on my own, and I would have given up like I had to give up on so many other things. Don't try to be a lone ranger. And then the final rut that you need to get out of fast so you can launch your coaching business this month. And right now we're in March. This month or whatever month you're in is putting off until tomorrow what you should be doing right now. Yes, we are, ladies and gentlemen, talking about the P word, procrastination, putting it off. That is one of the biggest traps that we can get in when we want to do something, but it's not comfortable. Remember, I talked earlier about we want to be in comfort as human beings. We want to stay comfortable. That's a fact. And so we will tell ourselves so that it looks like we're still moving forward that I'll do that later. I'll do it soon. When the kids get older, when my spouse does A, B, and C, when the market does this or that, once I have this much money, once I'm in this place in my field. And a lot of times we're looking for a place of comfort, right? That's all that is. Because if you really desire the life that you say you desire, no way do you want to put it off to the future. You want that mug now. Right? For the people I'm speaking to, you want that now. And especially if you're in a space where you're not fulfilled in your job, right? You're in your job, but you're built for entrepreneurship. I've been blessed with some good jobs, right? What people call good jobs. I worked for a great company for 14 years, but I didn't fit in. I never fit in. I was not the one to climb the corporate ladder. And it stalled my career at several points. Not because it was a bad company, not because I wasn't good at my job. Not because I wasn't capable, but because I was called for more, or I was called for something different. I wasn't meant to be an employee of that company or any company. I was meant to work for myself. For some people, that's not their journey. I'm talking to those of you, if you're watching this, you feel like you want to work for yourself, but you don't want to just say, I want to work for myself because you don't want to work for somebody else. It's what are you supposed to do? Sometimes job people are just in the wrong job. And they need to get into the space where they're in the right job. And that's a different issue. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about, that you are like, you can't let that thing alone. You keep talking about working for yourself. You've always tried to start businesses. You've thought about starting businesses, and all of your dreams, people think you're crazy. They're too big for the life. Why can't you just keep your good job? Why do you got to keep on trying to do this A, B, and C? That's because they are meant for less, or they are limiting themselves to less. Sometimes people that say those things, they're meant for more too. Maybe not as an entrepreneur, but for something more in their life. And you're trying to do more. It accuses them and it convicts them. And they want you to stay where they are and keep them comfortable by don't stretch. Don't you start stretching, because then it means I should stretch. And it shines the light on my mediocrity. Okay, so you can't listen to those folks. But sometimes when you listen to those folk, it'll make you think, I need to put this off until later. My sister, my mother, my best friend, my coworker, the market, other entrepreneurs, all these other people, or your inner voice is telling you not now. Don't listen to it. The fact that you are still seeking answers by being on this training today, by looking up things, by constantly dreaming and looking, that means it's not meant for later. Are there things that should be put off until later? Absolutely. You can't do everything today, right? But you can begin the process. That thing you can't stop thinking about, that life, that problem you want to solve, that magnificence that you want to bring to the world, the life you want to live. It's for now. The fact that you keep thinking about it means now is the time. The fact that you can't let it go means now is the time. Because when you are absolutely resolved in your mind on the inside that now is not the time, you don't think about it anymore. What you're talking about, Coach MJ, when something really is for later, Your mind lets that go to bed, lets that hibernate. When your mind keeps pushing it to the front, every time you see my videos or somebody is having a workshop or somebody's got a challenge or there's a conference that you running and going, that means now's the time. But sometimes those things that you're doing, like watching this training, like going to the conferences, that's not enough. That's a safe place to hide collecting information. You can collect information, but if you don't implement it and do something with it, you just buying notebooks and collecting information. Don't put off until tomorrow what you should be doing right now. The now of it is where the change needs to happen. The now of it is what scares a lot of people. So that when the offer comes and they say, you need to enroll in these courses, you need to join this workshop, you need to invest in your business and go buy those things. And that's when the resistance comes. The resistance doesn't come when it's easy. The resistance doesn't come when you're not really stretching. But when you feel yourself saying, oh no, I'm not going to do that, that's the thing you need to do. I found that to be true. The very thing you resist is the thing you're supposed to be doing. The very thing, I mean, I'm in the place right now where I'm getting over some resistance for things I need to do to grow my business. And I think about it every day and I've put it off and now I'm having to step forward and do it because the change I want is on the other side of that thing. The one thing you don't want to do, that you're afraid to do, that you're resistant to do, that's the thing that's going to get you where you want to go. I promise you. And so if you are ready to step out of your rut, get rid of all these ruts, these 6 ruts and all the other ruts that are holding you back, and you are ready right now, today, to step into your greatness, to start building that coaching business based on your expertise, the thing that you are good at, right? You're already good at it. And you just want to do it on a greater level and earn a greater income for doing it, make a bigger impact by doing it, and create independence for yourself and your family because you're doing that thing. If you're ready right now, then I have an opportunity for you to begin. I have a challenge coming up, a challenge, a workshop, whatever you want to call it. And I call it the Quick Start Your Coaching Biz Challenge. And I want to invite you to join. In this challenge, it's going to be starting here, and I think it's in a few weeks. I don't have my calendar in front of me. But in this challenge, you are going to be not only collecting information, because I know a lot of times we collect information. We're good at collecting information, but you're not just going to be collecting information. You're going to be doing some stuff. You're going to be doing some stuff. I'm going to have you doing homework every night. I'm going to have you thinking and planning and implementing the things, which is different from I'm just write some stuff down and make it feel good that I'm starting. But no, you ain't starting until you doing the things. And so in the Quick Start Your Coaching Biz Challenge, which by the way, you can get to the registration page right now by going to bit.ly, bit.ly/QYCBC. That stands for Quick Start Your Coaching Business Challenge. QYCBC, bit.ly/Quick Start. Oh Lord, I can't even talk. bit.ly/QYCBC, which stands for Quick Start Your Coaching Biz Challenge. Go on over there and get your VIP seat. You don't want to miss it. All the details are on that site. I'm not going to get into that, but I'm going to tell you this experience is going to be very different. It's going to be a hands-on interactive thing. The VIP folk are going to have a chance to ask me questions, which is really going to get you to where you want to go, right? Because the general information is for everybody, but your specific question about your niche and your audience and your marketing and your this, your that, we're going to talk about those things in real time, which is what's going to allow you to quick start your coaching biz. And even if you don't think of yourself as a coach or becoming a coach, use whatever word you want to, an expert, an influencer. Although the term influencer means a little bit something different. This is for anybody who wants to use their expertise to help other people improve their lives in some way, whether it's in health, finances, or relationships, right? Whatever your area of expertise is, there are people out here who need your help. And by helping them, that makes you a coach. So call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, but you need to get in here so I can show you how to get yourself out there and find the people around the country, around the world who need your help right now. So again, go to bit.ly/QYCBC That's the website that you need to go to get your VIP seat. Why be a VIP? Again, you're going to have extra bonuses, extra access, extra opportunities to get the most out of this experience. There's also a general admission ticket if you don't want to do that. But I'm telling you, you need to go VIP because that's where all of the real transformation is going to happen. So again, join the Quick Start Your Coaching Biz Challenge. It's going to be starting here in a couple weeks at bit.ly/QYCBC. And I cannot wait to meet you there. Cannot wait. I'm so excited about helping an army of 270 Black women this year to transform their lives and the lives of your clients, your future clients. But it starts with you taking action. Don't procrastinate. Don't believe the lies about not having time or not wanting to invest in yourself. Give yourself the grace. Give yourself the gift of getting in this challenge, and I will meet you there. It's been my pleasure to share with you today. I'll be back next time with another training, but until then, I will be watching for your registration confirmation to drop into my inbox because I am planning a tremendous experience that's going to help you to launch your coaching business this month so you can start on the journey to claim total freedom for yourself as quickly and as profitably as possible. I look forward to sharing with you. Until then, take care and be abundantly and gloriously blessed. Bye-bye.